Welcome to my craft table. Hi, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'd like to show you how to make this card. And at the end I'd like to show you a card I received in the mail from my friend Rebecca Bullock. As a thank you for receiving the, well, I'll just show it now, for receiving the gift box from my 100 subscriber giveaway. And isn't that gorgeous? What a gorgeous card. Very nice. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I really love this. Okay, and this is the card we're going to be making today. It's really quite simple. And let's get going. Okay, the products you're going to need is the Petals stamp set from Stampin'up. I used the sentiments out of Botanical Bliss. I use best wishes and especially for you. My paper is a piece of thick Whisper White. It was a standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. And I just cut off 1.5 inches off of one end, and we'll use that to stamp the sentiment on for the front. And I have a piece of Designer Series paper, and again this is the old Designer Series paper because I have not purchased the new one yet. And this is 5.5 by I think I cut it 5 1/4 by 2. I wrote it down incorrectly. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 2. Okay, and then we're going to also be using the Country Floral embossing folder. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to put our embossing folder. We want this turned over though. We want the Stampin'up logo to be up because that's the side where the impressions dent in, and we want the impressions to be punched out of the front of the card, not to be impressed into it. But you can do it the other way if you wish. And all I'm doing is lining up the edge of my card with the edge of the embossing, where the embossing starts, and making sure it's straight in there. So basically I'm using that line on the embossing folder to make sure it's nice and straight. Now you do have to be careful when you're running it through your machine that it is on the machine exactly, because it's about the same width. So I just take my embossing, the platform, my die cutting machine, and the other plate on top, make sure it's where you need it to be, and run it through your machine. Zoom out so you can see that. Alright, and that's what we get. Now you might need to take a bone folder and make that fold nice and crisp again, but that's what we end up with. Then we're going to take the piece of Designer Series paper and adhere it right here on the inside of the card, so that when this folds, it covers up just a tiny little bit of it, overlaps it a little. So let's add some glue to this. And again, I would use some of the new paper, but I haven't received it yet. Limited funds right now. We're going to leave 1/8 of an inch border on 3 sides. So it's going to go on the outside edge of the inside of the card. Okay. Oh, and I forgot another important piece. piece of scrap to stamp on. This is just plain Whisper White. I have 3 ink pads. I have Lovely Lipstick, Bermuda Bay, and Blackberry Bliss. And you're also going to need a stamp cleaner. Something to clean your stamps on. In between colors. Is this wet enough? It was. A little bit. Alright. Let me get this big shot out of the way. That would make life easier. Alright. So we're going to take the Lovely Lipstick first and we're going to stamp that. We're going to stamp this flower. Well, let me zoom back out so you can see. This flower here, we're going to stamp it 3 times with each one of the colors and then punch it out with the coordinating punch, the 4-petal punch. Okay, I have a few done already, but let's do a few more. Oh, here's my... Okay, so I need 2 of the... So you need 3 of each color. Wash your stamp off in between colors. Actually, I need 4 of one of them. Doesn't matter which one. Let me turn this over and do one more of that red. Better yet, you know what? I'm gonna actually stamp on the inside with I'm just gonna stamp on the inside of my card. You can use another punched one. I'm just gonna do it that way. Alright, there's that. Too much water on that chamois and it made a puddle. Alright. And we're going to do 3 with the Bermuda Bay. Oops, that didn't come out very well. I apologize, I might get some interruptions. I have family visiting. So I have a family emergency. My mom's in the hospital, so this might be the last video I do for a week or 2. Okay, then I've got my Blackberry Bliss. Okay, and then 3 back Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so we've got 3 of each. Wash this so I don't get all gooey. Alright. We're going to take our punch and punch them out. One of this color. Yeah, I did that wrong, but that's alright. We'll make it manage. You'll notice on my stamp there was a spot on it. So you know which way is the right way to hold to punch it. And I didn't pay attention to it. That's alright. You can also fussy cut them out. I did one with a different stamp set, but And almost, if you can punch it out, it's so much better. This is the one I did where I fussy cut out all the flowers. And I like that one as well, but this is a little bit easier, so I figured I'd show you this one. Okay, so we've got all of our flowers we need. I got punch these out. This way. Let's bring it up. Twist it out. That's why I did them beforehand, because I always forget to pay attention to where the position of my punch is compared to the position of my paper. Okay, now all we're going to do is glue them to the front of our card. Bring these all in. Okay, let's put this one underneath because and I just decorated the front of my card with them. Now some of them I did flat on the card, and some of them I popped up with dimensionals. You just have to be careful to only put glue on the part that's on the flap of the card so you don't glue your card shut. Basically, you can use glue dots, you can use wet glue, whatever you want. Now that's not coming out. My tape runners are packed. I took them up to the hospital with me, so I had something to do while I was in the waiting room. Okay, there's a turquoise one. This way. A little bit more. Are you gonna stick? Come on. Now there's glue on there. And then we get another, just edge one. There. And this one's gonna get popped up with dimensionals. Dimensionals out. This one's gonna, let's untuck that one. Glue this one underneath there. And you kind of want to be cognitive too that they're not sticking out the edge of your card too much, because otherwise you won't be able to get them in your envelope. Well, you can make up your own envelopes, but oops. I need one more turquoise one for, oh, I'm not supposed to put dimensional on this one. To go flat, right about here. This is just fiddly, it's not difficult. this card idea came from a cased a card from Brandy Cox from 2016. She did the fussy cutted version, and it was really pretty. I really liked it, so I was trying to see if I could case it with some of today's stamp sets. That's where the first one came from, but then I decided I really wanted to see if we could come up with an easier way to do it rather than having to fussy cut all those. So this particular flower has the punch, so let's try that. Here we go, and it's pretty just like that. Then I added the sentiment strip, so I just used this. And where's my best bushes gone? Somehow I put it right. Where is it? It's this one. Well, let's reuse one of these blocks. And I stamped it with the Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I just cut it out. Just cut a little banner. Made a fishtail. Well, probably not even in frame. Sorry, my phone's going to be dinging because I can't shut it off. I need to know if they call me. I need to have it on. Alright, and then I just glued it in right there. Let's go ahead and glue it in. So it's hanging off the edge. Just make sure you don't put glue where it's going to show. Now we're going to take the Especially For You. Stamp that on the inside. Where did I stamp it? I don't remember. Oh, way up here at the top. Make sure I got it right side up. There you go, and there's our card for today. There's the one we just made together. Here's the one we did previously. Here's the alternative, using a different stamp set. You can use any floral or any stamp set you'd like for this. Well, thank you so much for joining me at my craft table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's take another look at that lovely card that I got in the mail. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. It's got that texture paste in it. I haven't played with that much. It's really pretty. Well, thank you and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table.